The Bnei HaGoyen HaMechaber write in their introduction to the Shulchan Aruch, the Akdomas Bnei HaGoyen HaMechaber to the Shulchan Aruch, that the Shulchan Aruch is Hilches Nide Shehoya Le'ezik Nosei. He wrote the whole Shulchan Aruch in the early years, but Hilches Nide he wrote on a later date. Then the Tzemach Tzedek writes in Shalish Tshuvas Chelik Yeridea, Simen Kuf Lamed, המהדורא בסרה שלי שכוסף בלעדי בזקנוסי אחר חיבור השולחן ערוך שונים רביס. So we see that the pnim of Hilchas Nida was written after other parts of the Shulchan Aruch, something like in the Tov Kuf Mems, but much later, in the last years, he wrote the Madura Basra. In the Madura Basra, he was chazer from different halachas that he passed in the Shulchan Aruch. What caused him to change his mind, to be chazer of some halachas? So we see that the Bnei HaGoyen HaMechaber write in their Akdome that the Shulchan Aruch is miyused al pi das kol ha-poiskim rishonim v'achronim ubereishim harav Baal Mogen Avrom lehifriz al amido lachlik aleim rak lachriya b'neihem. He was always trying not to be choylek on the Mogen Avrom, who he admired so much. Only when there is a machlekes between him and other poskim, he would be machriya. But he didn't feel that he is ready to be choylek on the Mogen Avrom. That was in the early years when he was mechaber the Shulchan Aruch. But in the later years, when he was mechaber in the Madura Basra, writes the Divrei Nehemia in Shalish Tshuvah Simer Chof Aleph, שידוע שבשולחן ערוך נדחק הרבה שלא ליטחס כל דברי האחרונים ז"ל, בפרט דברי המוגן אברהם, מה שאין כן בסייף יומוב שהוסיף חוכמו העמיד על דייטי הקדשה להחליק עליהם אפילו להוקל בכל מה שלא נראה לי, when he saw proof from the Rishonim not like the Mogen Avraham. And this is mainly the topic of the Madura Basra that he wrote in the last years. He wrote then on Hilchas Nidea Madura Basra and on Hilchas Shabbos, several. Reish Mem Gimel, Reish Nun Tes, and Shin Aleph. The whole Arichas, the largest Madura Basra and Reish Mem Gimel, is to explain why he decides now not to rely on the Mogen Avraham, even though in Shulchan Aruch he relied on the Mogen Avraham. As we see that the Madura Basra to Reish Mem Gimel, he keeps writing the Leike Mogen Avraham שהייסי דייטי לדעס אחרס, וזה איני, ומה שכוסף המוגן אברהם שם, זה איני, ומה שכוסף המוגן אברהם, דמיירה בשל נוחי, זה איני במשמע הלושן כלל. So I just quote the words, but it's a long Madura Basra that he proves, not like the Agdore in Amir el-Nochri, like the Mogen Avraham, but he explains it in a different way, with different mascones that come la'alocha l'maaseh different. For a regular person, it is very difficult to find those details that the Alter Rebbe was chazer in the Madurah Basra, in Amir el-Nochri in Shabbos, and in Hilchas Nida, because it's not written like psokim, it's written like a pilpul, and a very short language. So it's very hard. In our new edition of the Shulchan Aruch, and every detail that comes a different maskona in the Madurah Basra, in Hilchas Shabbos and in Hilchas Nida, it would be explained in the footnotes what his maskona is in the Madurah Basra, different than what he says in the Shulchan Aruch. The same thing we find also, the Alter Rebbe is explaining himself beremez ubekitzer in the Seder Birkas Hananim. First he was mechaber the Shulchan Aruch, Hilchas Birkas Hananim, and the Luach Birkas Hananim. But then he was mechaber a Seder Birkas Hananim. Why do you need the Seder Birkas Hananim when you have already the Luach Birkas Hananim, which is a collection of halachas of Birkas Hananim that are more negea l'maisa l'kol echad? So the Alter Rebbe is writing a very short introduction. Seder Birkas Hananim ve'ele meisif al harushenim ktsas kedushay halachas bruches melukostis mesifrei hakadmoinim שלא נקבעו בלוח הראשון המיוסד ומשוכלל על פי דאס ואחרונים. He writes here in short that in Luach Birkas Hananim he was relying on the Achreinim even when he had a kasha on them, but here in the Seder Birkas Hananim he is basing his halachas, his maskonas on the Kadmenim, even though when he has to be chelik on the maskona of the Achreinim like the Mogen Avrom. And the same thing is also in the Madurah Basra to Hilchas Nida in Simen Kuf Pei Gimel. Obviously there is no Mogen Avrom on Hilchas Nida. He wrote only on Erechaim. In the Hilchas Nida, the Alter Rebbe is building much the halachas and the understanding of the crazy uplesi of Rabbi Yonasan Eifshitz. Also in this halacha of Ksomim and Hargoshe, he relies on the biur of the crazy uplesi and the Sher Yankiv. They're both several generations earlier the Alter Rebbe, 2 or 3 generations. But here in the Madurah Basra he is chelik on them. Like he is starting the Madurah Basra to Simen Kuf Pei Gimel, Ma shekosvu b'tshuva shev Yankiv u'b'kreisi u'pleisi. You cannot say that. Ho behedya omer Abaye differently. And therefore he is chelik on them. And is coming to different maskona in the Madurah Basra. Not only this, after he finished the Madurah Basra, there is still the new biur in the halacha is still hard and dechak. So he writes a long Hagoy base, where he writes that even this is difficult to understand, and it's a dechak. So therefore he comes with a third biur in the halachas of Hargoshe and of Ksomim. And according to that, could come out different halacha l'maisa. But we still don't know if we pass different halacha l'maisa. So let us discuss the dinim of Ksomim and Hargoshe as he understands it in the Shulchan Aruch, and then we'll see how he understands it in the Madurah Basra and why he is chelik on the maskon of Shulchan Aruch. And then we'll see how he is changing his mind again and is coming to the third understanding of Hargosha and Ktomim. And then we will see how it is in our days, how much we rely on this. So let's start with the halacha of Hargosha. The Gemara says that if she didn't have Hargosha, she didn't feel the blood is coming out, she is only tome midrabanan and not minatero. And therefore, bodko karka elom, and she sat down on it, and then she got up and she saw dam there, it's a kesem blei Hargosha, and it's not minatero. Not only it's not minatero, it's even midrabanan also toher, because the Rabbanan said that it's a tome only if it's on, she found it on something which is mekabel tumo, but the karka is not mekabel tumo, so therefore she is toher. Why? Because she didn't have Hargosha. That's what the Gemara says. Then there is the dinim of kesem. So when the Simen Kuf Tzadik starts with the dinim of ktomim, the Shulchan Aruch also says it's because it's no Hargosha, because she didn't feel, she just found it. So therefore, if she finds it on something which is not mekabel tumo, she is toyer. Even it's on a beged which is mekabel tumo, but it is colored, they also didn't gazer, so she is toyer. So therefore, when a lady is afraid she'll find the kesem, she puts on clothes that are bigdei tziv'oinim, even the kesem will be found there, she'll be toyer. Because she didn't have Hargosha, it's kosher midatero, and because it's bigdei tziv'oinim, it's toyer midrabanan. Starts the Alter Rebbe explaining it on the beginning of the Simen Kuf Tzadik, right in the beginning. Let's see, he explains it in two ways. Let's see first how he explains it in the first way and the second way, and then we'll go further to see what is his maskone and the dinim of Hargosha and Ktomim. So the Alter Rebbe says that if lo yirgisho, even though she is sure that it comes from here, tmeo midrabanan kedeleil simen kuf pegimel, because she didn't have Hargosha. But it's only tumas kesem. If she knows that it came without Hargosha, im yadua shiro asu b'leir shalei b'Hargosha, v'nafki mine linyan roasol beged tzavua el davar shilem kabel tumo kedel kamen sif yud that she is toyer in ganzen. Afal pi Hargosha, when she finds it on a beged, could be it's on the beged already from many hours, and she maybe had some kind of Hargosha, but she didn't realize, and she forgot. It's already a few hours old. So he goes on and explains, ובקסם הנמצא בגופו ובבגודהו, אף על פי שיש למה שמזמן רב הוא, ואם הוא רגישו ולא ידע איתו, ליחשינן לא מדרייס אלא מדרבנן, therefore it's tumas ktomim. Whenever she doesn't remember that she had Hargosha, it's tumas ktomim, and therefore it's an, if it's on a bigdei tziv'oinim, she is toher. That's the first biur, and that's the biur that the Shulchan Aruch says. But the Alter Rebbe doesn't rely on this itself. And he starts giving a second understanding what is the reason that K'somim is only Tomim in the Rabbanon. And he goes on and says, there is a day that Bisman Merube, you can't rely on Hargosha that she didn't feel. Maybe she was margish several hours ago and she didn't realize and she forgot. So therefore the not Hargosha is not the reason that K'somim should be with the Rabbanon. Ein noch anam if botku karka elom. And she found later dam. She's told because it's not Argosha, because this is just a few minutes. She sat down and she got up and she saw blood. But if it's a kesem that she found, maybe it's already a few hours. So you can't rely on this time. So what will this day say? Why K'somim is only in the Rabbanon? So he says, and even there is a day that Hargosha is a day in the Gemara, but we don't paskin like that. So if Hargosha is not making it should be Torah Mediraisa, so why is K'somim only in the Rabbanon? So he gives the second biur. Leki Isura Diraisa v'K'somim shenemar dam yezev dam v'likesem. When Rabbi Kiva was matir K'somim, the Talmidim wondered. So he told them, why are you wondering? It says a pasuk, dam yezevo dam v'lei kesem. What is kesem different than dam? It's not exeres hakosov. So he says, v'ta'mei mishum de'ikel l'meimer eimer me'al me'osem kesem zeh. She found on her clothes a tipas dam. Maybe it's from somewhere else. In those days, when a lady had to prepare a chicken, she took the chicken to the sheichet, and he shechted it, and he shechted then a lot of chickens for other people. So could be a drop of blood went on her clothes. Even if she doesn't remember that. But it says Davel in Kesem because maybe it's from Avram Shukshel Tabochim, even if she doesn't remember. How he says, Hechmiru Rabbanan Hechmiru Belei Makilu Yu Mevade Megufo, Macha Sheila Davel Litlis Bo Kesem Ze, Leimer Shemenu Bo, Macha Shedu Alo Sheli Nisasko B'Ksomim. She doesn't remember when it should come. But still there is a posik. That Tzemach Tzedek explains it in a tshuva. The dam v'lei kesem means that only vaday dam migufo, and not it's a kesem when it's only a sofek. And he says it's like it says mamzer vaday v'lei sofek. So it's a limud in a posik that has to be for sure, not even a small sofek. And since it's possible that she went in a shuk shel tabachim, even she doesn't remember that, so we are minater it's Torah. That's the second biur, has nothing to do with Hargosha. So we have two biurim in K'somim. Either because she wasn't margish, either because dam v'lei kesem, because it's a sofek, shemo avro b'shuk shel tabachim. Obviously, the main tam is the first one, that she wasn't margish. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. Comes on this, the Alter Rebbe is asking a shaila. How can we say that whatever she wasn't margish, it's komot matero? We know that if she is beidek, it's also minatero. It says in several places. If minalul lefnim, it's vaday tomei. If minalul chutz, it's sofek tomei. But there is tomei minatero. Why is it sofek? Why is it Tome. She wasn't margish. So here comes the beer of Shem Yankov and crazy places that the Alter Rebbe brings down in Siman Kuf Pei Gimel, Sif Kotten Gimel. First he says that Argoshe, that how it comes out from the Mokim to the Prosder, with the Rabbanon, it's Meo. She wasn't margish by the Bdike. וכל שנמצא על העד שהכניסו בפנים ובודקו עצמו בו, הרי זה בחזקה שבו בהרגושה. She wasn't margish. She didn't realize because she felt her bdike. So maybe it came out and she thought it's Argosha's aid. This svara of Argosha's aid, maybe Argosha's aid, says the Gemara. But the Gemara says that Lagabi Ledas Beishamai in a specific case. There is, but Tume, there is a Tumas Mesles. If she sees dam, maybe it came yesterday, so therefore everything that she touched yesterday is Tume. Beishamai says no. Why? Because yesterday she didn't feel. Asks Rashi, and now she did feel. Says Rashi, now she was Beidek. So when it's Beidek, even she didn't feel, maybe she felt and she thought it's the Bdike what she is feeling. That's what Bishamai says. So we use this as Bore to explain why when you see the Bdike, it's also Benatero, even though she wasn't margish, because Shemo, she thought that it's the feeling of the Bdike. This is the Shitte of the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch. That if she saw a kesem, it's also either because she wasn't margish, either because Shemo Avra B'Shuk Shel Tamuchim. If Botko Karka Elom, it's not a long time, so if she didn't feel, it's Mutter Menatero, it's just Tumas Ksumim. If she was Beidek, even though she wasn't margish, we assume that she was margish, but she thought it's the Argoshe of the Eid. This is the shit of the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch. So he comes in Kuntre and he says, this idea I took from the Shev Yankov and the crazy place of Rabbi Yenis Nevshitz. But in the Gemara you cannot explain that. Why? Because the Gemara says that if she found min alul lefnim, it's vadait tmeyo minatero. If min alul lachutz, maybe it came from the lul, so it's sofek tmeyo. So the Gemara says that's if she found it on the floor of the proizder. What if she found it on the gag of the proizder? Brings the Alter Rebbe, מה שכוסף בתשובס שב ינקי ובקרייסי פלייסי, הטעם דבדיקי בסחיצן תמי מדרייסר משום דארגושס עד היא, הו בהד יאומר אביי בסוגיה דחדר פרייסדר, אימר שוחסו. Why is she told me when she found it on the roof, on the gag of the Preisder? The dam goes on the floor of the Preisder. How does it get to the gag? It's because she bended so much so it came up. Or she jumped, is darko, and it came up. That's what Expire explains. Ulamaskone shom, serfim trumo ukotshim מהיתר מדעים שוחס ובנמצא מן הלול ולפנים בגן גליה. So we see that even though you cannot say she thought it's bdikas aid and she had her goshe, because when it came to this roof, to the gag of the presder, there was no bdike. So we see that even without bdike, also we say that it's tome by bdike. So we must say it's not because she thought it's bdikas aid, the tziarosa. We must say that since it's a long time, maybe it came up to the ceiling, to the roof, gaga presder, and there when she was bathed, it came in, but she was margish because it may be there for a few hours. Because in Zman Merube, we don't say Argoshe, because maybe she felt and she forgot. So since you must say that, not with the reason of the Shev Yankev and the Casey Placey, she's chayiv without Argoshe, even she wasn't Bedek when it came there, when it came out. So you must say that we cannot be matter for Argoshe because it's a long time. Comes the question, if then by Zman Merube we don't say the reason of lo yirgisho, so why ksomim is muter minatero? You can say like it says in Shulchan Aruch, the time is because she wasn't, there was bled Argoshe. And not only that, even when the Gemara says Yoshua bekarka elom, botko karka elom v'yoshua olov, and then she saw dam, so you matter because it's bled Argoshe? Why Argoshe? We keep saying that maybe the dam stayed in the presder for several hours. Like since she was jumping or bending till now. So maybe Babot Kukan Kaelam, it's also that she saw it a few hours ago and she forgot that she felt something. So how could we say that Blei Argoshe is muter, and still when she was bathing the Gaga praised her is Tome Minatero? What is the difference between Botko Karka Elom and Ksomim and between Botko Umotzo and Gaga praised her? In both of them you cannot say that she was feeling the pain of the bdike, because it came there hours ago. So maybe by hours ago you cannot be matir for not Argoshe. So why you matir minatero without Argoshe by Ksomim and by Botku Karka Elom? So that's the dilemma of the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe starts explaining a long arichas. What is the idea? The arichas is a very many pilpulim. But what is the nekuda of his biur? There is a machlekes between the Rambam and the Rashbo. If Argoshe means that Agzeres HaKosov, that since it wasn't Argoshe, so that's Toyer Minatero, or since there is no Argoshe, so we assume it's not coming from the Mokir, but from somewhere else. So he says, let's explain the whole sugya according to the Rambam. That we assume it doesn't come from here. When she is Bedek in the praise there, and she finds Min alul velifnim, min alul velechutz, and the karka of praise there, and the kaga praise there, you cannot say it's coming from somewhere else. But בכתמים, or even בבודקו קרקע אילום, you could say it comes from somewhere else. Comes from somewhere else? How could it come from somewhere else by botku karka elum? She checked the karka elum, she saw it's clean, and she said, and then she found dam on the karka elum, and we say it's toir. So how would the Rambam explain that? So comes the Alter Rebbe and he says, he starts with the whole biur that there is a difference between the praise there and Bayis HaChitzon. The praise there is very deep inside. Over there, you have only a lul that could be, sometimes it comes from there, but it's very rare, so we assume it comes from the Mokra. But if you find it in Karka Elom, and she was no Argosha, so then we assume that maybe it came from the Bayis HaChitzon. That in Bayis HaChitzon there is always reasons for a little scratch, because the fingers goes in there, or when she's with her husband, so always there is a possibility of a scratch. So over there you assume. That's what the Rambam means to say. If it's inside, it's for sure from the mocker. But if it's outside, could be it came from the Bayis HaChitzon, from the Bayis HaChitzon. So therefore, when she sits on the floor, we assume that that's not coming from the mocker. Maybe it's from a scratch in the Bayis HaChitzon. Even though she knows for sure it's not from Shuk Shel Tabochim. And Allah has come by K'somim. So there you have even the ability of Shuk Shel Tabochim. So therefore it is only to us K'somim, and in Atera it's mutter. This is the biur of Alter Rebbe, but it's a difficult biur. The Alter Rebbe says, but if so, then when she is beidek kinuach itself, it should also be only a tumas k'somim. What means kinuach itself? She didn't go all the way in. For some reason, she just checked outside in the Bayis HaChitzon. And since she's found there, so it should be tumas k'somim. The Rambam says sofek. Tome misofek. So we'll have to explain what the Rambam says Tome misofek means, that therefore it's only tumas k'somim. But it's not enough. If Bayis HaChitzon is only tumas k'somim, then when she is beidek b'Bayis HaChitzon kinuach, only kinuach, and finds dam, she should be toyer. Why? Because it has a din of ksomim, and by ksomim, if it's leimekabel tumo, it's toyer. And here, when you're bedek with the aid is not mekabel tumo. If it's semergefen or anything else, it's not mekabel tumo. So she should be toyer. So Alter Rebbe comes with the biur why it's, even if she finds in Bayis HaChitzon, it's only tumas ksomim. But still, she is tome, even she was beidek with the aid, which is not mekabel tuma. Why? So let's see how the Alter Rebbe struggles with himself in the beginning of the Hagora base. ומי יוצר חיון? בבודקו קרקע אלו ממי תהירה לגמרי. ולהווה סופק דירייסה לחומרם מדרבונן. כמי בקייס לרחם די כנאמר למיתלה בצדודה. And over there you say that it's sofek diraisa. Otherwise she would not be tome, because she is beidek with something which is not mekabel tumo, as he explains Barichas in der Kundersache. Wie Hilkach, we will have to say that the Kesle mit Zerechem Name Lecker Latumas Ksomim Kmei Be'al Psorim Bechutz. So why is she Tomei? Habei Dekes Bedovo Sheine Mekabel Tume Elisharit Peskin Metzivenim. Why is she Tomei? Mishum Shekvar Hoyo Al Psorim Mibifnim. Alter Rebbe comes with a new view. Even if she finds in Beis HaChitzen, with the Kinuach itself, she doesn't go into deep, it's only Tumas Ksomim. But Tumas Ksomim here is Tomei, even though she was bedek with something which is not Bekabel Tumah. Why? So that's what the Alter Rebbe is explaining now. That we will have to say that if she checked the Kinuach, she found the blood on the bosom through something which is not Bekabel Tumah. As he explains it, Mishum shekvar hoyo al psorim mibifnim. So she was bathing the bosom and the bosom Bekabel Tumah. But if she bought karka elom and she found, so she didn't find it on her bosom, she found it on the floor. If she found the kesem on her beged and the beged is savua, she found it on the beged. She didn't find it in the bosom. That's the pure that he explains the whole halacha according to the Madurah Basra. But it's a derek. Says the Alter Rebbe that it's a derek and ein tzorich litchik bekach. After he finishes the whole thing, he says it's still a derek, and maybe we will look for another explanation of the whole halacha. And that third explanation looks like his final maskona. What is the third one? So let's start. We just mentioned before that the Rambam says that Hargoshe is a birur, if it comes from the Mokir or not from the Mokir. The Rashba and other poskim don't hold like that. They say it's Xeris Akosov. Since she didn't have Hargoshe, so she is Toyer. So according to the Rashba, we still don't know why when she was Bedek, even praised her, even in Alul V'Lifnim, even Al Karka praised her. Why she told me she didn't have Hargoshe? So we must say that since it's a long time, so we assume there was Hargoshe and also Minotero. And the blood stayed inside till it came out. And she forgot that she had Hargoshe before. So what is, according to the Rashba, the difference between Bdike, even praised her, even in the Alul V'Lifnim, even Bekarka praised her, and Bortko Karka Elom is only Tumas Ksomim. Why? In Bortko Karka Elom also it could stay in her side, in her, and it came out later. So she forgot that she had Hargoshe. So according to the Rashba, we will have to find another explanation. So if we'll do that, we could say that according to the Rambam too. Let's see the third Asbore, how the Alter Rebbe is learning. He says, "Du al-kochoch le-Rashba ve-Tur ve-Shulchan Aruch u'shar poskim de beinen Hargoshe mamesh, and not because of birur. V'hai time kosvu gam b'psomim, ksomim, therefore ksomim is only mit Rabbanon, v'lei mishum de Torina ma'al Mose, al-kochoch tzorich leima mishum the Meire afile bekai gavne, the lekel lemeima, l'hargeshe v'l'hargelaito. Bodko karka elam means it's in a case that you sure it just came out now. Kigoin, בשוע מועטס, אחר שבודקו עצמו מוצאת הערב. The whole din of the Gemara, that bodko karka elam means not only bodko karka elam. She checked herself and she saw she's clean. She checked the floor and she saw it's clean. She sat down. A few minutes later she got up and she saw blood there. So she knows that this blood came out now from her. Not that it came out before hours ago and it stayed inside and now it came out. It came out now because it's speaking in a case that she checked herself. Even the Gemara says, Bodko karka elam, it means she checked herself and the karka elam. That's the only way that we could explain the difference between bdike. Because by bdike we assume it came before, not because she thought that she feels bdike tziaroso. Only because we assume that it stayed inside. And by what karka elam, we have to say that she was bathing herself and found clean. That's the approach of the Alter Rebbe. And then we'll have to say, to find the reason, Baksomim, you can't say that. Baksomim, she found on the baguette. So she wasn't bathing herself a minute ago. She wasn't bathing the baguette a minute ago. She just found it on a baguette. So what is the reason there? Then we will have to say that Baksomim, the reason is the second biur that we learned before in Shulchan Aruch, right in the beginning. The Rebbe says that it is because Shema Avro Beshuk Shel Tabochim, and even though it's a small sofek, but we learn out from the posik Dam Veli Kesem that even a small sofek is metar. So we have, according to this now, we have the shite that if Bodko, we assume it came earlier and then she forgot that she felt, it was munater. If Bodko karka elam and Bodko herself, and then she sat down and then she got up and then she found a drop of blood, then you're sure that it's no bdike, no argoshe. But if she found a kesem, then you don't know. It's now, maybe it's a long time ago, so there is no heter of argoshe. Then you have to be matir only because Shema Avro Shel Beshuk Shel Tabochim, and it came from outside. Yes, that's the biur, but that's a good biur for the Gemara time. But for our time, it's very, very difficult to understand this biur and ksomim. Avro Beshuk Shel Tabochim, and there was a spritz and came on her baguette. Yes, in the Gemara time, every lady went to Shuk Shel Tabochim to get a shechet to shecht for her the chicken. And then there was cows too that they were shechting, so spritzed all over. Even though she finds it inside on the shirt, so maybe it just picked up a little bit and went, the spritz went there. Nowadays, when she finds it on the underwear, on the inside of the underwear, it's not possible at all, no suffix. First of all, in nowadays, nobody goes to Shuk Shel Tabochim. A lady will go to a slaughterhouse, they wouldn't let her in. She only gets her meat by the butcher, where everything is clean, there is no blood spritzing. So what's the suffix? It's sure that she didn't go to the slaughterhouse. And even if she would go to the slaughterhouse, and they want beer spritz. Could the spritz go on her underwear? Inside of her underwear? Then it used to be only a dress, so there could be a drop picked up. But underwear it's not the metzius. It should be picked up, even if you have a spritz. So if she finds a ketem on the inside of the underwear, there is no question that it comes from her. So what would be the reason? You cannot say because there was no agosha, because it could be ours and she was, we say that maybe she wasn't margish. Maybe she forgot. You cannot say me'al me'ose, because she can't go to the slaughterhouse, and even if she would go to the slaughterhouse, there was no spritz in the world that would be able to go under her underpants. It's not possible. So why are we matter a ketem inside the underwear if the underwear is big tziveinim? But we do matter. So the Alter Rebbe explained it in according to many generations ago. In our time it's not possible. So why are we matter? So the pale we are matter. It could be like the first beer in the Alter Rebbe Shechanor, in the second beer in the Madurah Basra, in the third beer in the Hagoy. You'll have to find on what we rely. But the pale, we are matter ksamim. If it's on big tziveinim, like Nifsek in the Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe explains.